Good morning, everyone. Sorry about that. We had some little technical difficulties, but we are all set now. So thank you so much for taking the time today to join us. In today's Arkieva user group meeting, we shall get to acquaint ourselves with other council members, discuss preferred council structure, and then get to know who our council president is. My name is Winfred Amoako, and I'm going to be your moderator together with Helen OT.
Hi, everyone.
Before we get started, I would like to mention that if at any point in time you have trouble hearing us, please let us know by using the chat feature in GoToWebinar, and we will be sure to assist you. Also, we will reserve a few minutes at the end of the meeting for questions. Please feel free to enter your questions as you think of them using the GoToWebinar questions window. And we hope you can take a few minutes at the end of the meeting to complete our feedback survey to help us ensure that you get the most out of our meeting. But first of all, we want to thank you for agreeing to become distinguished council members. We truly appreciate this amazing privilege to work with you all. Our discussion today will start with a quick introduction into what the Arkieva User Group Council is all about. We then shift gears to do a quick temperature check to measure our goals for this group, right after which we get into the fun stuff. We would each get the chance to introduce ourselves, give a little fun fact, and then get a little serious serious stuff going. We are just starting this user group council, and we are nervous at this, so please bear with us. We are going to rely heavily on you to shape this out and to provide guidance into how you want the user group to shape out. So let us roll up our sleeves and get to work. Now let's see what the Arkieva User Council is all about. So the goal of the Arkieva User Group Council is to provide a safe environment for Arkieva users to share their business challenges, discover best practices, and together we will find a way to produce solutions from both a strategy and a tactical perspective. This is our attempt to make everyone know that we as a company and you as users are on this journey together. Whilst you have a good time, Arkieva will be at the background to listen to your struggles. Through all those valuable feedback, we shall share our product roadmap and reviews with you. You will get a first look at what Arkieva might be cooking. With all that said, let's get into the fun stuff now. How many users do we have in this group? And from what industry is everyone coming from? That is a great question. So we are super excited to announce that we have 15 different companies coming from 4 industries. We have companies from the chemical, process, discrete, and CPG. Under these industries, we have Hexion, Momentive, Corning, XPI Pharma, State Industrial, and Neuron. As though that isn't enough, we also have Grande Cheese Company, Advanced Drainage Systems ADS, Southern Champion Trade, Perfetti Van Meel, Owens Corning, Escalade Sports, Tempus Lilly, Datweiler, and Lush. What a fantastic cohort this is indeed. That was super exciting, and we sure do have a strong and fun cohort. So I'm going to tangent into doing a pulse check to make sure that we are on the right track. So let me shift this on to Helen. Helen, can you please do a quick pulse check?
Yeah, thanks, Win. So I'm going to launch a poll, and you should see that shortly. All right, so just feel free to enter your answers, and then we're going to share it with the group 1. Okay, so it looks like we have a pretty good group of people. We have about 11% of you that are relatively new to Arkieva. We have 3 to 5 years of people that have used Arkieva, and then a good chunk of you have been with Arkieva for a good amount of time. So I think this is great because we have a good mix. and we're going to have very interactive discussions as a result of that. So I'll pass it over to you, Glenn.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Helen. That was exciting. So now let's tangent here. So let's talk about our proposed framework of how we want the Arkieva User Group Council to look like. The User Group Council will be led by an appointed president, and the president will oversee the User Group Council during meetings, which will occur at least once every other month. The president will then guide the User Group Council in generating discussion topics based on challenges of the collective whole. Now, during each quarter, the focus of the User Group Council will be based on the rotation of topics in four areas, namely demand and inventory planning, supply planning, and S&OP planning. For the first quarter, the User Group Council, together with the President, will focus on demand and inventory planning. The second quarter will shift to supply planning, while the third quarter will be S&OP planning. Once the User Group Council and the President decides on the topic, one person is nominated to lead the discussion with Arkieva User Exchange. The moderator for the User Exchange meeting will be the President of the User Group Council, together with Arkieva. This is to make sure that Arkieva users get a chance to interact with each other without any interference from Arkieva. Now that we've got the structure out of the way, we are excited to announce who the Arkieva Group President will be. Our choice for the Council President was thoroughly thought through, and with careful examination, we concluded that Deborah Gerlach from Momentive would be phenomenal for this role.
Yay! Yay!
So we are super excited to have her on board as the president of the Arkieva User Group Council. Firstly, the Arkieva User Group Council meeting will be led by the president of the User Council Group. The proposed meeting time. So now let's go into the structure or the cadence of meetings for the Arkieva User Group Council. So now let's talk about the meeting cadence for the User Group Council. So firstly, meetings will be run by the president of the User Group Council. And the proposed meeting time will be an hour to 15 minutes. The structure of the meeting would be either a prepared presentation or a roundtable discussion, which would be about 40 minutes. From there, we would have questions and answers, which would be 30 minutes in total. And meetings will be held at least once every other month prior to the meeting of the Arkieva User Exchange Group. So, who are these members then? This is where it gets super exciting. But before that, I'm going to shift to Helen for a quick pulse check. Helen, can you take it from here as well?
Okay, so we wanted to launch the poll, and the question is, have you ever been in a user group council? I'm going to launch that. And it's very simple, just yes or no. So, all right, this is exciting. Nobody has been in the user group council. This is great. So we all get to figure it out together, and that's going to make it a lot of fun. So over to you, Lynn.
Thank you, Helen. That is so reassuring to know that we are on notice at this. And so here are our amazing group council members. And to make this exciting and less chaotic, let's begin this introduction from the top left corner. And here's how we're going to introduce ourselves. I am going to open up the floor for you to answer the question as to why you as a council member decided to join this Arkieva User Group Council. What are you expecting to get out of this council? I'm also going to call out your name and the company you are from. Then you take it right from me and run with it. You have 2 minutes to introduce yourself. Please give a short bio of yourself, your job title, and one fun fact about yourself. We should start now with, I'll just give Deborah Gerlach, since she has some technical issues ongoing, and move straight to Zach Dale. So Zach, are you on the call?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Can you?
very good. So I am currently working for Tim Sealy. I've been here roughly 5 years. I've held a couple of different roles here at Tim Sealy. One's been in sourcing, and the other has been in our strategic planning organization. And currently, I'm responsible for the supply side of our business. I think I heard you say to tell a fun fact. I have a little boy who is 3 and a little girl who is due in November. So I have a growing family on the way.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is. It is. Also terrifying. But I am not looking forward to the sleepless nights. But other than that, we're my wife and I are really excited. Part of what I wanted to get out of the user group here is to make sure that we're utilizing the tools Arkieva included to the best of our ability and to get maximum value out of them. I know that we've all probably manipulated the way that we use the tool a little bit differently. So I'm hoping to get some insights into best practices, things that we can employ, and then what I hope to give back to everyone here is something similar.
That is fantastic. Of course, we can help you with all that, but I'm not sure we can help you with baby diapers. But congratulations for being a father.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So that was great. That was very insightful from Zach. I'm just going to move it on to Misty Doan. I'm so sorry if I didn't mention your name correctly, Misty.
So hi, my name is Misty. I am the actual supply planning manager at Escalade Sports, but I'm also the application as far as install. It's very new to Escalade. Fun fact is I was married last year, so you actually still have my maiden name on there instead of my new married name. So that has changed. And then as far as what I'm hoping to get is obviously, Arkieva is new to Escalade. Is just really, is there a better way or a simpler way to do things, making sure that we are taking the most advantage that we can out of the application. And then, there are, like all of us, we've got some unique idiosyncrasies with our business. So how do we work around those idiosyncrasies and really take advantage of everything that's available within the tool?
Thank you so much, Misty, and congratulations to you as well.
Thank you.
There's a trend going on here.
Life changes, right?
What's your new name?
Eldridge.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Thank you so much. So now we move on to James Gregory from Lush. I'm not sure James is on the call today, so I'm just going to quickly jump in here for him. So we are excited to have James Gregory from Lush Fresh Handmade Cosmetics with us. He is the demand planner at Lush, and Lush is a fresh handmade cosmetic producer. And some popular products that they make is the bath bombs, hair soaps, and etc. So this is just a quick intro on him.
And I think we have Ernie on the call as well. Ernie, if you want to jump in and say something about our work with Lush.
Hey, can you hear me?
So, yes,
We can
hear you.
now, Ernie.
Okay, great. Yeah, James has been with Lush since the very first day of the implementation. His actual first day of employment was the kickoff for the project a little over 2 years ago. And he will be sharing the responsibilities of the user group meeting with Christine, his colleague. So they'll alternate based on availability, their participation.
Cool. Thank you so much, Ernie. So let's move on to Eric Russo from Neuron.
Hi, so my name is Eric Russo. I work for Neurion, or used to be Axel Nobel. Been with the company for about 7 years and have done multiple stints as demand manager and as supply planning manager, which is what my current role is. So I've used both supply and demand pretty extensively. As far as a fun fact, I really like to travel, especially internationally. And in 2 weeks, I am going on vacation, going to Croatia and France. Really looking forward to it. Much needed vacation. As far as what I'm looking for to get out of the group, I'm just interested in learning how other people are using the tool. And also, I think my main motivation with my current role is learning how we can use the supply model more to take action, as opposed to it just kind of spitting out a result, and we kind of look at it and then don't really do much with it after that.
That is fantastic, and I'm sure we can help you with all these kind of delicate questions into how to use the supply model. I'm sure you visited more than 20 countries already, right? Oh, I think he's
Sorry, what was
muted.
that?
So I was just asking how many countries you have visited so far since you like travel.
I think I'm around 30.
Wow, that is super impressive. Okay, thank you so much for such an insightful bio as well. So we can now move on to Jacqueline Yee. So I'm told Jacqueline couldn't make it to this call, so I'll just give a quick intro on her. So Jacqueline has a degree in investment economics, and she also holds a master's degree in finance. So after graduation, her first job was in consulting company, and she worked on the establishment of an internal control system. In 2007, she joined a German investor company in Zhao as a finance manager for 6 years. She now serves as the global sales controller for Jatweiler Sealing Solutions. So we're super excited to have Jacqueline on board as well. Thank you so much for joining, Jacqueline. So now let's move on to Danny Greenwald from Advanced Drainage Systems.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
My name is Danny. I work at Advanced Drainage Systems here in just outside of Columbus, Ohio, in Hilliard. I've been here just over 2 years, and in that time, we've implemented from the ground up, basically demand, inventory, logistics, supply planning module, and I've had a ton of fun being on all sides of the project as getting to build it a little bit, and then being a key user and helping try to spread that out to the business. And I'm excited to continue to grow in my understanding of how the tool can be used and share what we've done here. Got to present last year at the Arkieva conference on some of the things we're doing in the logistics space here. Outside of ADS, I like to swim, bike, run, hang out with my wife and 3 kids, 6 and under, and try to get some sleep. And all those things never happen perfectly all at the same time.
Yes, that is so true, Danny. I'm so excited to have you on board as well because I know we've worked closely. We worked closely last year on the Arkieva user conference where you were very phenomenal in presenting to the greater group, and so we're super excited to have your expertise on this council as well. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this, Danny.
Thank you.
All right, so let's shift gears to Michael Morris from Owens Corning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Greetings, everyone. Again, my name is Michael Morris. I am the Global Supply Chain Process Leader for our Owens Corning Glass Reinforcements business. I've been with Owens Corning for 24 years, with the first 15 in financial leadership roles. So I'm also bringing some financial acumen to our discussions when we start talking about financial modeling, et cetera. I've been the project lead on every Arkieva deployment we've done within the composites business, and we've implemented demand planning, rough cut capacity planning, inventory optimization, financial planning, and we continue to grow and develop these processes and these tools as we mature in our organization. I also got an opportunity to present last year at the Arkieva conference around work we're doing in demand planning space around segmentation, stat forecasting. It's a very good experience. I really appreciate the opportunity to share, as I will with this group as we move forward. Fun fact about me, I work in a global company. I've been all around the world, visited many big cities. But I grew up in a town of 1,100 people, and my dad was my school principal. So I've been much growth for me in terms of interaction and cultural experiences I've had, and I look forward to working with you moving forward. Thank you.
That is fantastic. I didn't know that. Thank you so much for sharing this, Michael.
Yeah.
Also, I worked with Michael on last year's Arkieva conference, and he was fantastic. He has a ton of knowledge that I'm sure he's going to share with all of you as well. So thank you for being on board. So now let's move on to Dawn Garin from Southern Champion Trade, from a small family business, and she also owned a business prior to moving into corporate world. She has been in supply chain about 14 years in different roles. Her highest level of education is an MBA, and we are super excited to have her on board as well. So Ernie, can you give a small piece on Dawn as well?
Much like James, Dawn started with the company about almost 3 years ago, I believe, within 2 weeks of the kickoff of the project. So she's been very valuable in using her previous planning experiences with other tools and helping to build our Arkieva process and tools within Champion Tray. And they are looking to expand that team a bit more in the next year or so as their business grows. So.
Thank you so much, Ernie. Thank you for helping me with this. So let's move on to Eric Stortz from Grande Cheese Company. He's the planning manager at Grande Cheese, where he leads in the area of supply planning, including inventory management, materials management, scheduling, production planning, and long-range capacity planning. He earned his degree from the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. So Ernie, can you also help me out with Eric's thoughts as well?
Sure. Eric is one of the users in our business world that actually has almost all the planning functions under his role. It's a very small team, so he does a bit of demand planning, inventory planning, production planning, as well as touching on the scheduling side from their plant operations. So it's quite unique to wear that many hats in the business. One of Eric's primary challenges is actually around aging of cheese. So many of our supply models are specifically focused on targeting the sweet spot for age for their fresh products, which is one of his daily roles, is to really target the age freshness for the cheeses.
That is really fantastic to know that he has a wide coverage of areas of expertise, which means he wears many hats. This will be very fantastic for the group as well. Thank you so much, Ernie. So let's move on to Joe Fasano from SVF Pharmacy.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity. Been with SPI Pharma for about 8 years now, and prior to that, I was in the aerospace, and prior to that, the specialty chemicals industry. A little bit about myself. I have 4 kids, but a little bit older of an age span, and everywhere from 8th grade to grad school, and one effectively employed and out in the workforce. what I'm looking for and my expectations is really sharing with all of you. As been said before, it's what are the other ways to get the best out of the tool set? How to get the most value for the tool set? What are best practices, and not just in the usage of the tools, but in how you as an organization change the behavior and the culture around embracing the planning tools, and cultures where you do S&OP or IBP, etc. So I'm excited and look forward to interacting with you all. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Joe. That was very fantastic. Thank you so much. So let's move on to David Baldwin from Hexion.
Hi, yeah, this is David Baldwin. I've been with Hexion for about 15 years, a little over 15 years, in various capacities. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry. Various capacities, supply chain planning, execution roles within supply chain and now as the senior manager of business process, I work across all of Hexion to ensure that we've got standardized processes around supply chain planning. One of my key areas of interest as we continue to mature in Hexion is pretty mature with the Arkieva tool set. I'd say we are about 15 years on Arkieva or Zemeter historically. But we are looking at how we better integrate financially, for financial planning, instead of just doing a lot of our supply and demand on the volume, but looking at how to integrate that with the financial aspect, so that we don't have financial teams running their plans and supply chain teams running their plans, but that they're all harmonized together. Also interested in how we continue to evolve to support mobile platforms for our planning and analytics. Interesting facts about me. I have 5 children. They all started school today, so end of the summer is officially here. And then I'm a hobby beekeeper.
Nice. Wow, that sounds very exciting. Thank you so much for sharing this as well. We hope to support you to help you with all these expectations that you're having from the group as well. So let's move on to Bo Blackstone from State Industrial Products.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
So I'm Bo. I'm with State Industrial Products. I've been here about 2.5 years now. We're a 100-year-old family-owned company. A little unusual. We have a 4th-generation family owner, original family. Our products are basically anything you would use to maintain or clean a building, manage a facility. So, my team has the joy of managing about 20,000 SKU location combinations in discrete gallon bottles and quart bottles. We ship out 97% of our orders within 4 hours or so. So it's quite fun when the team's managing all the planning, scheduling, and procurement to support that. For the last 18 months, we've been rolling out the Arkieva toolset to support that, specifically demand, inventory, supply, scheduling. Certainly really excited to do that. Prior to joining State Industrial, I actually worked at Hexion and worked a little bit with Momentive as well. So really exciting to see some of my former colleagues on this council. But, for me, a fun fact, I've got 3 small children, ages 7 to 1. I do, I say I'd like to live on my wife calls it the Blackstone farm. So we have some animals. We have about 24 chickens. And, related to that, I was trying to catch a fox the other day and ended up catching a skunk. So I actually had to learn how to release a skunk from a trap without getting sprayed. So those are just some of the unique challenges of living on a farm. But what I hope to get out of this user group, I came from, I'll call more of a big continuous chemical manufacturer. For now, it's a chemical blending, but discrete packages. So, certainly hoping to learn from some of the discrete product companies that are on this council, but then also how to balance kind of the day-to-day execution versus the planning. So, State Industrial is relatively small, so we don't have a separate planning group. So, my team that's cutting the purchase orders and scheduling the production, we're the users of all the tools. So, how do we balance that macro plan versus the day-to-day execution and managing our time? So, I'm really excited to be part of the council, and thanks for inviting me.
Thank you so much for joining us, Bo. That was a very exciting story about the skunk. So let's move on to Deepak Singh from Perfetti Van Mew. I'm not sure he's on the call, so I'll just quickly jump in here. So Deeper is the Senior Executive Planning at Perfetti Van Mew. Perfetti is a manufacturer of candy and gum. They are the maker of popular brands like Chupa Chups, Mentos, Vividend, etc. Okay, so we can now move on to John Enright. I'm not sure he's on the call either, so I'll also quickly introduce him. John Enright is he is the supply chain product manager at Corning, where he's worked for Corning in implementing Arkieva and other supply chain and ERP-related software for over 15 years. His work focuses primarily on Corning businesses in the US and Asia. And Corning is a maker of glass and ceramics. One cool thing that Corning makes is a Gorilla Glass that is used in iPhones. So, Deborah, I understand now you can unmute yourself. Can you please give a quick bio on yourself?
Hello there. IT a lifetime ago and transitioned to a black belt role in supply chain. So current role, I look at business processes, also look at best using Arkieva tool set. So similar theme with everybody, sharing ideas. And it's not just how to better use the tool, but also improving business processes, especially around forecasting.
All righty. So thank you so much, Deborah. We are hopeful that we can find solutions to some of your problems as well. So thank you for joining this group. And I'm also excited to announce that Deborah is the president of the Arkieva User Group Council. So now let's move on to questions. So I'm going to open up the floor for everyone. If you have questions for me, please feel free to just chime in here, and I'll be sure to answer your questions.
So I think in order to not make this chaotic, the best way to do this is if you want to talk, maybe just raise your hand. So you just use the hand raising option that GoToWebinar has, and then we can unmute you. So just so that we don't get everybody's background noise. All right. We have a question. If you want to use the chat, that's also fine. Michael Morris wants to know if we're going to have a copy of the presentation that's shared with the audience.
Absolutely. So we are going to send a recording of this webinar as well as their presentation material to everyone on this call, right, as well. So yes, we would send it out to everyone.
So in addition to questions, if there are any suggestions that you want to share about, we shared our proposed structure for the discussions. If you have something else in mind that you want to share, you can share that now with the group. Use the questions window, or you can send that after the meeting if you're more comfortable doing that. Just checking to see if we have any more questions that came through. All right, so it looks like we don't have any more questions. We don't have any raised hands. So I'll pass it over to you, Wen, and maybe you can conclude this since this was the introductory call. I do want to mention, and I think you may have mentioned at the beginning, we have a survey that we're hoping to use as a way to gather more feedback, gather more information about how to structure this. So please take time. It shouldn't take you more than about a minute or so to complete it. So as soon as you close out of GoToWebinar, it's going to pop up, and then you can answer those questions. And we just have more sort of a comment. Zach says the layout works for him. So yeah, so feel free to share anything. We're new at this. A lot of you said that you are also new at this, so we're going to figure this out together, and I think it's going to be fun. So we're really excited, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Absolutely. This is going to be such a fun group because we have people from diverse industries as well as diverse skill sets and expertise. And so I can see this being such a fun and amazing group that we would all learn together, work together, and move our businesses forward as well as Arkieva forward. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Cheers.